very good evening and welcome to News Watch tonight with me, Tony Omondi, as I bring you the latest news updates from across the country. Thank you so much for joining us on this live broadcast tonight. Our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's begin with our top story now. As the battle for the pulpit by politicians continues to elicit mixed reactions across the country, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has told the church not to view politicians as top-of-the-range sinners. Kalonzo said all, including political leaders who go to church, should be treated the same. Last Sunday, several political leaders, including ODM leader Raila Odinga and NC party leader Musalia Mudavadi, were barred from addressing a gathering at the consecration of Bishop Rose Okenno in Butere. Kalonzo was speaking in Nairobi on Tuesday, accompanied by a section of political leaders and Embu Governor Martin Wambora. Our reporter, Dolly Muregi, begins our broadcast tonight.
As the debate continues to rage on pulpit politics, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has told the church not to view politicians as top-of-the-range sinners. Kalonzo was reacting to the recent move by the Anglican Church of Kenya to bar politicians from addressing congregations in its sanctuaries.
This conversation, I think, is healthy, but even if it is healthy, please do not make political leaders look like they are sinners, top-of-the-range sinners, because we are not. All of us are equal before God.
Musyoka was speaking in Nairobi, where he was accompanied by a section of Wiper leaders and Embu Governor Martin Wambora. The Wiper leader said it is important for the church to simply rearrange protocols in sanctuaries instead of taking adverse decisions against political leaders, arguing that there is no separation between politics and the church.
Is there really a separation between church and politics? In my view, there isn't. This is why we even want to ask church leaders who are seeing things going wrong politically to actually join us and correct this country together.
On Sunday, ODM leader Raila Odinga, his ANC counterpart Musalia Mudavadi, Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, Kisi's James Ongwae, and Kitwi's Charity Ngilu were blocked by ACK Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit from addressing a gathering at the consecration of Bishop Okenno in Butere. The Archbishop, who presided over the ceremony, said that he would not allow politicians to hijack the function and turn it into a political affair, as has been the case across the country for many years. The move, which the Wiper leader says is wrong.
They will come and worship with us. They will give quietly, and that is it, like everybody else.
At the same time, Wiper leader has reiterated on pushing for a united front ahead of next year's polls, with his determination to climb the mountain as his Mount Kenya tour began on Tuesday under One Kenya Alliance.
The essence of uniting this country is that what Oka enunciates: one Kenya, one people. So we are going to unite the mountain. Of course, the mountain is ahead of us, I can tell you. And sometimes people think Mount Kenya region is a hunting ground. These are Kenyans. Yeah, every place is a hunting ground, I can tell you.
We are very much working as a team in the region, and we are most welcome.
Thank you.
To the mountain.
Yes.
Of Kenya Mount, in our province, our region.
Dolly Murigi for Hope TV News Watch.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has lashed out at critics of the competency-based curriculum CBC, insisting that the new system will not be disbanded. Magoha, who spoke at the KICD during a meeting with stakeholders to discuss the concerns raised over the implementation of the new curriculum, defended the curriculum, saying it was not expensive, as some of its critics claimed. The CBC has elicited mixed reactions from the public, with some saying it's burdening parents and teachers. Grace Ngoi tells us more.
Change is as good as a rest, but to some, change is hurtful and burdening. This can be affirmed by the widespread hesitancy by Kenyans in accepting the new competency-based curriculum, even as it gets to its fifth level of implementation. Critics of the curriculum claim that it's too expensive and demanding for parents and learners.
Every time wanataka pesa, hizi pesa za nini? Kama hii CBC, sisi tulisomea 8444. Na sisi tuko sawa. Tunapata kazi ni tu vile government ijawahi tupatia kazi. Hii kitu wanatuletea hapa practical. Juzi naona hata kwa mtandao ati mtoto wa grade 2 anapika chapati. Ya nani?
Just last week, LSK President Nelson Harvey announced through his Twitter account that he was moving to court to file a petition challenging the implementation of the CBC for what he claimed was an expensive education system that was ineffective. Statements that, according to Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha, could not be further from the truth. A visibly frustrated Magoha urged critics, seemingly responding to Nelson Harvey on the petition, to cast restraint, saying going to court will disorient at least 5 million learners who are already continuing students under the new curriculum.
Stop distracting the parents. Stop confusing the 5 million children who are already hooked on the CBC, that you are going to stop it through a court process. The trauma is too much and it is not necessary. If it is politics, it is not worth it. It's not worth it at all. So let us take your criticisms that are reasonable and we will act. But when you see us coming out with blazing guns, it means you really have not done your research. You have just gone and opened your mouth somewhere without checking.
The new curriculum has changed the way learners interact with the content they are learning and is more inclined to developing practical skills as compared to the 844 system. However, already a huge disparity can be seen by public and private school-going children with the kind of homework they bring home. Learners in private schools are seen to have assignments that are more engaging for parents and learners. All the same, the new curriculum expects some level of participation from parents, a matter that does not exactly sit well with some parents. Magoha has, however, disputed this to be a burden for parents, saying parents should view this as an opportunity to engage with their children and hopefully have an impact in their lives as part of the curriculum's goal of bringing up all-rounded learners.
They must engage their children, whether they like it or not, because that's why the children are behaving the way they are behaving now. Who told you are just supposed to produce a child? Then you're allowed to go to school. So I'm going to encourage the parents. The wisdom is in the brain. It is not in the school. And by the way, if you take time, the parents will enjoy interacting with you. Nobody is saying they should do they should do your homework. But take their inputs. Are you saying the people who are saying, oh, the parents should not be engaged? They are using cost to run away from it. Which cost?
At the same time, concerns continue to be raised over the preparedness of the government for the next transition, which is junior secondary school in grade 7. The first lot of junior secondary schools are currently in grade 5, remaining with one grade to finish, as grade 6 is the final level of primary school under the new curriculum. Grace Wangoi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Away from that, a cloud of grief has engulfed a family in Embu County after their 19-year-old boy went missing a week ago. The family that's now requesting the intervention of authorities in search of the missing boy has blamed the administration of Nguvi boys in the county for the disappearance of the boy. Family members said the boy went missing after a disagreement with other boys from the school. Tiffany Omboy has this report.
The family of a 19-year-old student is stranded in grief as they lack information on the whereabouts of their son. The student, who was reported missing 1 week ago, allegedly had fallout with two of the students from the same school who accused him of stealing a calculator and a set book. According to the family, the teachers gave a different version of the story, stating that the student was waylaid by other students on his way to class. Further, in a rather discouraging tone, the school principal displayed laxity in the search of the missing student as he further threatened to abandon the search if the family contacted the media. Ruth Kanini, the mother of the student, stated that a school teacher called her to inquire on her son's arrival home.
On Tuesday, nikaenda shule. Nikauliza mwalimu vile kulienda, nikamuuliza, akanieleza naye vile kumeenda. Akaniambia amepiga ripoti Kivogo Police Station. Mimi nikamuuliza kama nitaenda nitapiga ripoti mahali pengine wapi. Akaniambia hiyo ya Kibogo Police Station imetosha. Mimi nikaenda nyumbani. Alafu kuenda nyumbani Wednesday nikapigiwa simu na polisi. Akaniuliza kama kijana amefika nyumbani. That was on Wednesday. Akaniuliza kama kijana amefika nyumbani. Nikamwambia hajafika. Wakaniambia wanatafuta pande hii na mimi nitafuta pande ya nyumbani.
Anthony Mutunga, who is the cousin of the boy, decried the delays they experienced in search of his dear cousin.
Naona mwalimu mkuu anachukua hii kitu kama kitu ya rahisi. Mimi pia ni mzazi. Wakati mtoto amepotea, nimelipa fees. Mtoto wako mikononi ya shule. Amepotea wiki mzima. Hata leo tulikuwa tunamwambia tunataka kuenda tena hapo shule tuone hiyo distance ya kutoka Mbweni na darasa iko namna gani hapo mtoto anaweza potelea. Yeye mwenyewe anatuambia kuna other engagements which I don't understand, which engagement is better than this. It's more serious than this.
The distraught family now seeks to check morgues in the region in hopes of finding their loved one. Embu North Sub-County Police Commander Abdullahi Adan said the matter had been reported at Kibogo Police Station and a signal sent to all police stations. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Tiffany Wamboi.
The Kenya Union of Journalists, KUJ, Secretary General Eric Odor says the union has commenced talks with media owners to improve journalists' remuneration, among other rights of journalists. Odor said although journalists were quick at highlighting the plight of other employees in the hands of their employers, no one had come forward to champion their rights, which include rights to safety at their places of work as well as proper compensation for their labor. He spoke at a Malindi hotel during a two-day seminar on the rights and safety of journalists.
If you go to teachers, tumekuwa na mafunzo hapa ya siku mbili ili kuzungumzia haki za waandishi wa habari, hasa usalama wao wakati wanapotenda kazi yao kule nje. Maana tumekuwa na visa vingi za waandishi wa habari kuvamiwa wakiwa kazini. Kwa hivyo tunaona kwamba ni muhimu kufanya mafunzo ili waandishi wa habari waweze kujua haki zao na pia waweze kujua vile wanaweza jikinga wakati wanapofanya kazi yao kule nje. Haswa tukiangalia kwamba mwaka ujao kutakuwa na uchaguzi na tunaona kwa sasa tumeanza kuwa na zile visa vya ghasia, na wakati tulikuwa na ghasia waandishi wa habari huwa wanapatikana katikati hapo. Kwa hivyo tumeona ni muhimu kwanza ili tuanze kufanya mafunzo waandishi wa habari wajue vile wanaweza kujikinga wakati wanapofanya kazi yao.
Utapata kwamba kina dada pia wamepandishwa vyeo, wanashikilia nyadhifa za juu katika vyumba vya habari. Utapata kwamba angalau Kenya pia tumepiga hatua. Ukiangalia nafasi za wahariri, kina dada wamekuwa wengi. Hapo awali walikuwa wachache. Ukiangalia katika ngazi ya wale meneja katika vyumba vya habari wamekuwa wengi pia. Hapo awali ungepata labda mmoja, kwa sasa unaweza kupata katika idara zote zikiwa kama ni 7, utapata angalau 3 ni wanawake, alafu 4 wanaume, ama utapata hata wanawake wa mawazidi wanaume katika nafasi hizo.
Sasa tumeona waandishi wa kike wamekuwa kitumika katika the media houses ili kupata ajira, na pengine kwa sababu ya hofu ya kupoteza zile nafasi akawa hana njia yoyote ya kujitetea, na pia kutojua ni njia gani ambayo mtu anaweza fanya ili kuepukana na mambo kama haya. So for me it has been a good opportunity. Kwa njia moja ama nyingine sasa naweza jisimamia na nikajua my rights kama mwandishi bila kuhisi kwamba nimedhulumika kwa njia moja ama nyingine.
The Security Committee in Embu County has decried an increase in COVID-19 cases, blaming the situation on disregard of laid-down protocols as well as interactions in family gatherings. Speaking after a meeting, the County Commissioner Abdullahi Galgalo said 46 people were arraigned in the past week for breaking COVID-19 rules. The Commissioner also took issue with border operators for playing cat-and-mouse game with law enforcers during curfew hours. He has at the same time denied claims by a section of politicians that local morgues are full due to COVID-19 related deaths. Embu has so far received 18,400 Moderna vaccines and 7,600 doses of the AstraZeneca.
Natoa mwito kwa watu wetu wakati wanapo changanyika kwa hali ya maombi, wahakikishe makanisani, misikitini wameweka ile tunaita social distance, kwenye magari zetu hivyo hivyo, kwenye eneo za biashara zetu iwe namna hiyo. Wengine ambao ningelisisitiza sana ni hawa watu wetu ambao wanapeleka bodaboda, wanafanya biashara. Tunawashukuru kwa sababu biashara wakifanya hata hali ya usalama inakuwa nzuri kwetu, lakini tafadhali wahakikishe wamefuata kanuni zile tumepewa na Wizara ya Afya ili wao pia wawe salama na wale wanaobeba wawe salama na kaunti yetu pia iwe salama. Halafu mwisho kabisa nataka kutoa mwito kwa wanasiasa wetu. Wakati wanapofanya mikutano, tafadhali sana wahakikishe wamefuata kanuni zile zimewekwa na Wizara ya Afya. Halafu pia kuna makosa ambayo inafanywa na watu wetu. Wakati tumeambiwa curfew inaanza saa 4, tafadhali kabla saa 4 hajafika, pengine imebaki dakika 10 kufika saa 4, watu wahakikishe wamerudi nyumbani na hatuna haja ya kufuatana na watu. Bwana County Police Commander, tafadhali sana, wakati curfew inaanza saa 4 bado tunasikia pikipiki 2-3 zinatembea ama baa zingine ambazo bado watu hawajamaliza kumaliza hiyo chupa. Tafadhali time zile tumepewa hakikisha zimezingatiwa kabisa, na nataka kuwe mkali sana nyote hapa kuhakikisha enforcement officer yuko hapa, muhakikishe hizo amri zimefuatwa, kwa sababu at the end of the day ni afya yetu, afya ya wananchi wetu, na sisi ndio tumepewa jukumu ya kuhakikisha hizo mikakati zimefuatwa.
Chaos on Tuesday rocked Rumuruti town in Laikipia County after farmers clashed with herders, accusing them of illegal grazing in Marura area in an escalating conflict. Residents paralyzed business in the busy town as they reportedly chased away pastoralists who had come to the Rumuruti livestock market. The protesting locals barricaded the Nyahururu-Rumuruti Maralal road and set ablaze several motorcycles. This comes as the government has camped in the area to restore the much-needed peace and flush out bandits.
Sisi kama wakaaji wa Laikipia tunasema enough is enough. Yes. Tumekuwa Wangwashi, tumekuwa Olmoran, sasa tuko Rumuruti. Jana wamelisha mashamba ya watu na wamekuwa wakifanya hivyo karibu wiki mzima. Wamekatakata mtu jana. Hata saa hizi pia tukiongea hapo wamekatakata mtu wapi? Tumesema enough is enough. Hatutangojea ifike kama ya Olmoran. Serikali ni kuje sasa hivi ile suluhisho.
Marura watu wanalima huko, lakini wafugaji wanaishi pale kando. Walisema tukipanda mahindi ikikomaa ni yao na wanyama wao. Sasa mimi nauliza, tunapandia wanyama mahindi ama ni watu serikali tutalia mpaka nini? Mtusaidie chakula. Tuko na mikono, tuko na akili na tunazitumia kutafuta hiyo riziki huko.
Wanabiashara wameumia sana sababu tegemeo lao ni wakulima. Kwa wiki mbili hakuna kazi inafanyika hapa sababu ya kilio cha wakulima wetu. Hapa tuna horticulture, ndio utu wa mgogo wa sehemu hii. Watu hawa wamekuwa na shida katika mashamba yao sababu kila siku mashamba yao inalishwa. Hakuna mtu hata anakubaliwa kwenda kutoa mafuno yake. Ukienda pale unapigwa. Watu wa pikipiki wameumia, wenye mashamba wameumia. Sasa wanabiashara leo tumeanza kuumia.
Mji huu wa Rumuruti ni mji yenye inaishi mchanganyiko wa watu, na kwa hivyo kunapotokea jambo kama hili, sisi kama viongozi tunaona ni uchungu kabisa na tunahuzunika. Leo biashara zote Rumuruti zimefungwa, hakuna duka ambayo imefunguliwa, soko ya mifugo haikufanyika na imekuwa ni tatizo kubwa sana. Na kwa hivyo mimi nikiwa mwakilishi ningeomba serikali iweze kuchukua hatua kali sana na kusuluhisha jambo hili ambalo limeanza katika sehemu hii.
On to COVID-19 situation now. The country has recorded 451 new coronavirus cases from a sample size of 6,000 833 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate now stands at 6.6%, as the number of positive cases rises to 244,380. In a statement from the Ministry of Health, 835 patients have recovered from the disease, bringing the total recoveries to 234,737. At the same time, 5 patients have succumbed to the disease, raising the cumulative fatalities to 4,928. In terms of admissions, 1,559 patients are currently admitted to various health facilities countrywide, while 3,427 are under the home-based isolation and care program. 122 patients are in the intensive care unit. Right, let's now take a short break on News Watch. We'll be back with more stories. Do stay with us.
Ngarisha na Optiven. Guess what? It's just about the right time to build your dream home. At the Garden of Joy by Optiven. It comes with Maram roads, solar street lights, water piping along the mains, children play area, and a jogging track. Get your value-added plot at only 1.495 million Kenyan shillings cash with flexible installment options for up to 12 months. Deposit 995,000 Kenya shillings and get a free washing machine for your home. Ngarisha na Optiven. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
This week on Turning Point.
You know, the best thing you can do to keep from ever worrying about falling away is to keep growing in your faith. Isn't that true? You know? And the Bible says in 2 Corinthians 13:5, examine yourselves to see whether or not you are in the faith. The most important thing you can ever do if you have any doubts is to make dead sure you know there was a time when you accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior. Sometimes people say to me, oh, Pastor Jeremiah, I've been a Christian all my life. No, you haven't. You know, suppose I came and asked you, when were you born physically? And you said to me, I've been born all my life. No, there was a day when you weren't born and you got born, right? And then when you got born, you became a living person. There was a day when you weren't a Christian and then you accepted Jesus Christ and you were born again.
That's this week on Turning Point by Dr. David Jeremiah.
Welcome back to News Watch. Deputy President William Ruto has hit out at his critics, accusing them of attacking his bottom-up economic model campaign strategy. The DP met and engaged with small-scale traders from Nairobi County at their current residence, where he agreed to press for the modernization and upgrading of public markets and access to affordable credit to businesses. Ruto, who maintained that he will not give up in his quest for presidency, said his economic model strategy will be able to address most of the issues facing ordinary Kenyans. Dickens Luvanda has this report.
2 days after maintaining that his Sasla movement is ready to take up the mantle of the country's leadership next year, Deputy President William Ruto has once again slammed his opponents.
Hii fujo yote hawa wanaume wananiletea ati wanafikiria kwamba nimeharibu biashara yao. Ati wanataka tu wao waendelee na wengine wakae huko nyuma. Lakini nimewaambia safari hii, my friends, mujipange, madharau mutawacha, kiburi mutawacha.
DP Ruto, while speaking when he met traders from across Nairobi at his current residence on Tuesday, maintained that he is a man on a mission and he will never quit.
Si mnajua wameniwekea vitisho mingi. Mimi nimewaambia I am a man on a mission. I have no room to retreat and I don't have the luxury to surrender. We are marching forward.
This follows attacks against the DP from his critics, asking him to quit his position after falling out with his boss.
Tutatenga pesa ya serikali kila constituency zaidi ya milioni 100, wale wanabiashara wapate kupata capital ambayo watarudisha na interest kidogo.
Na umeahidi kuwa milioni 100 utaweka katika kila constituency. Mimi nikipata milioni 100 ya excellency, mimi nitaweza kupanga watu wangu. Nitahakikisha kuwa wale watu wangu, wale mama mboga, wale mama wa shanga watapata pesa yao na wafanye biashara yao. Wale wapinzani wetu wanasema bottom up sio nzuri. Wao wanataka trickle down. Trickle down kuanzia 1963 tupate independence. Tumekuwa tukifanya mambo ya trickle down.
Siasa si ukabila, siasa ni maslahi. Siasa si mapenzi.
During a Sunday church service at the Global Cathedral Church in Lang'ata, Nairobi County, the DP noted that the challenges he has faced under the Jubilee government have transformed him into a survivor.
Jina naitwa Ken.
During his Tuesday current meeting, DP Ruto maintained that enterprises, especially small and medium-sized, have been struggling to survive due to costly loans, and that his bottom-up economic model will be able to address most of the issues facing ordinary Kenyans as soon as he assumes office as the country's 5th president.
Tunakubaliana Kanairo? Tunakubaliana? So I want to say, for the avoidance of doubt, that listening to the traders, the business people of this city that have come to see me today, we have agreed that traders and business people, their businesses must be decriminalized so that everybody has an equal chance to do business.
Deacon Sylvander, Hope TV News Watch.
Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya now says it's time for the Luhya community to front a presidential candidate in the 2022 general election. Mudavadi says the region has lagged because of disunity witnessed among Luhya leaders, calling on the Western people to unite, this time for the presidency. Mudavadi has at the same time expressed his displeasure with the ongoing clashes in Laikipia County.
Sisi Waluhya tumekuwa opposition. Aswa watu wa Kakamega na watu wa Busia. Bungoma zingine wanaenda half huko katikati. Lakini sisi tumekaa opposition. Na tunakaa opposition kwa sababu hatuna mwelekeo. Na hatuna kiongozi ambaye anaweza kuelekeza sisi mahali tutakuwa kwa serikali. Tuna viongozi wa Luhya wako, wengine wanaongea watasimama president, wengine wanasema nini, lakini jipime ati paka wetu awe kwa ballot. Akiwa kwa ballot hiyo ndio kupiga kura. Ballot si shida. Sisi kama watu wa magharibi paka tulenge na tuone ni njia gani tunaweza kupata hii president. Kama tunaona tupati, tuna retreat na tunalenga ni wapi tunaweza kulini ndio tupate tuwe moja wa kuunda serikali.
Meanwhile, Samburu Governor Moses Kunal has been permitted by a Nairobi court to travel to Greece for official duties. The court approved his application, allowing him to process his visa and travel after confirming he was traveling in his capacity as governor to be part of a delegation of governors to engage in talks towards developing economic relations in Greece later this month. He is, however, expected to return his passport to court after his travel. Renol Kunal was charged with corruption and released on a cash bail in April 2019, where the court directed that he deposits his passport in court and also barred him from interfering with witnesses. Now, Robert Muganga, the prime suspect in the murder of 3 men in Junjubi village on July 7th this year, was Tuesday presented before the Shanzu Law Court to answer to murder charges leveled against him. In the case proceedings, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations detectives were granted 21 days by the senior principal magistrate, Florence Masharia, to hold the suspect together with 7 others to allow investigations continue. The court heard that Robert Maganga went into hiding immediately after the murder of the three and was flushed out of his hideout at Ambuja Court in Tasia Feather Estate by detectives. He is believed to have masterminded the attack on Kilifi businessman and farmer Siddiq Anvirali, Mohammed Siddiq and James Kazungu Kafani. According to DCI report, the bodies of the three had deep cuts on their head when they were found by the roadside near Junju Secondary School. Now, ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru has urged the youth in the country to embrace digital platforms and knowledge economy to shape the destiny of the country and the world in terms of development. He has challenged the youth to embrace emerging trends in technology, including working online. Speaking in Isiolo town during a tour of the Isiolo Youth Innovation Center, the CS said over 1.2 million young people in the country were working online and that the government targets to have 15 million youths in such employments by 2030.
We really need to elevate them all and ensure, Ruth, that through Generation Unlimited, we have this opportunity, but also this obligation to move forward with pace and with determination. We know of President Kenyatta's commitment to the youth, of this government to youth. The President is a global champion for youth empowerment, and he's spearheading the Generation Unlimited initiative to scale up education and training, entrepreneurship, employment, equity and engagement. And we in the United Nations are proud to be working with you, CS, with you, Madam Deputy Chief of Staff, with many of you through GenU.
Ile kazi kidogo tulianza ya Youth Empowerment Center na tulianzisha huko stadium, nyumba kidogo zamani. I had that idea before. Hiyo haikufanya kazi. Leo mumeona ya kwamba hii mambo kidogo tunafanya na ambaye nyinyi mumeendesha na nyinyi mumevolunteer nyinyi wenyewe kuendesha, imeleta ofisi ya president, imeleta waziri ya ICT na timu yake yote mpaka PS, imeleta FCDC, imeleta UNDP, imeleta Kenya School of Government. Serikali yote ziko hapa ajili ya hii maneno ya Youth Empowerment Center.
And it is very important tunakumbuka historia. As we say, we want to grow on a digital platform, knowledge economy. Na gavana ameongea mambo mimi sitaongea, lakini hatuwezi rudi mambo ya analog. Si ndio? We must move forward with the agenda that we were elected on. We were elected to bring technology and development to our country. We cannot now change and start going back. With the digital age comes many opportunities for those who are technologically savvy. And I therefore strongly believe that the time for reaping the youth dividend for Kenya is now.
Let's look at what is happening internationally. The United Nations Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet now wants the Ethiopian government and Tigrayan forces be held accountable for alleged human rights violations, including extrajudicial killings and torture. The Human Rights Commission has for the last 5 months conducted investigations on Ethiopia's northern Tigray region into the torture, killings and gender-based violence witnessed in the area. Ethiopia's Attorney General Gideon Timotheos called on the international community to take note of the atrocities meted by the Tigray People's Liberation Front. All right, news now takes another short break. When you come back, we'll be looking at what is happening in business and sports.
Our Christian life is not just about God always stepping in when you are in trouble. But sometimes you need to go through the valley of the shadow of death, and God will say, angels, stand away. He must go through that. She must go through that. Because out of this would come something greater and more beautiful.
Ngarisha na Optiven. Guess what? It's just about the right time to build your dream home. At the Garden of Joy by Optiven. It comes with Maram roads, solar street lights, water piping along the mains, children play area, and a jogging track.
Get your value-added plot at only 1.495 million Kenyan shillings cash with flexible installment options for up to 12 months. Deposit 995,000 Kenya shillings and get a free washing machine for your home. Ngarisha na Optiven. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Inspiring possibilities with Optiven.
Let's continue with business news. Kenyans will have to brace for tough times ahead as the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, revised the pump prices upwards, pushing petrol prices past the 130 shilling mark per litre, an all-time high cost for the commodity. In its latest maximum pump price review, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, has raised the prices of super petrol by 7.58 shillings per litre. This is while the cost of diesel and kerosene shoots by 7.94 shillings and 12.97 shillings per litre, respectively from midnight on Wednesday. A litre of petrol in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, will now cost 134.72 shillings, rising from 127.14 shillings. The cost of diesel will move to 115.60 from 107.66 shillings, while kerosene will cost 110.82 shillings from 97.85 shillings. EPRA has attributed the rising fuel prices to higher costs for landed petroleum products, with the cost of landed super petrol rising by 0.72%, diesel by 4.81%, and kerosene by 0.96%. Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala now says human-wildlife conflict is a major impediment to conservation of elephants in the country. Wildlife conservation, he said, is an expensive undertaking by the government alone, and appealed to sponsors and partners to join hands with the government in conservation initiatives. The CS was speaking at the Kenya Wildlife Service KWS headquarters in Nairobi during the reception of the second batch of contributions from sponsors towards the Tembo Naming Festival set for 8th and 9th of October 2021 in Amboseli to support elephant conservation.
We must support the future of the elephants and of all the wildlife that we have in this country. It is our duty to protect these and to save it for posterity.
Definitely our target is about 100 million Kenya shillings, and now we are almost 12 million, is it 12 million? Oh, 10 million shillings we have raised. So we hope before the deadline on the 8th and 9th of October, we'll be able to achieve a reasonable amount of money. And we call upon all corporate individuals, organizations to come forward and support us in these initiatives. The doors are open. We are willing and ready to work with you, not only in naming, but we have many challenges on human-wildlife conflict, particularly human-wildlife conflict. That is the big thing we have recently, and we need support. We need to compensate the victims. We need to build water ponds to allow mitigation in terms of effects of elephants to farmers. We need to put fences in where communities live. So all these projects need to be financed. And I call upon you, all of you, and the others, to please, we welcome all of you to find ways of partnering.
The much-hyped proposed banana processing factory for Kisii County farmers will begin operations in due course. Phase 1 of the plant's machinery has been installed, with the contractor noting impressive progress in the project. One of the contractors, Engineer Joshua Bino, said the solar dryers have a capacity to process 30 metric tons of raw bananas per day. The machines included hybrid solar dryers that will maintain the quality of bananas under the operations of an investor who will purchase the produce and ferry them and also process them.
You are going to dry more than 30 tons in a day when it is wet. But after now they dry, now the commodity has already been dried, is about 8 tons in a day.
The machinery that has come perform various functions in the entire process of making the banana flour. We've just started from outside. You've seen the machinery that has come in, which includes machines where the banana will be washed, dried, until they come out for solar drying, so that we retain the quality of the banana. In total, the machinery that is coming in is bought by the county and the European Union. The European Union has given us close to 35 million shillings for the machinery, and the county government has also topped up some money to make sure that we have the machineries. We believe, as we promised, were it not for COVID, today we'll be talking of doing our dry runs to make sure that the banana factory is working. But we're still on time. The machineries have come. I want now to appeal to our farmers to continue planting more and more bananas, because the factory is just about to start. The machinery is here.
And to some sports news now. Bandari tactician Kasambungo and striker Joanna Mwita are the Football Kenya Federation Premier League coach and player for the month of August, respectively. Mwita, who joined the team in 2019 from the defunct Sony Sugar, scored 4 goals and offered 1 assist as Mbungo led Bandari to 4 wins out of the 5 matches they played until the league was concluded on the 22nd of last month. Mwita scored a goal each in the win against Tusker, Kakamega, Homeboys, Mathare United and Wazito. He also had an assist in the second goal against Mathare United. Both Mbungo and Mwita walked away with 50,000 shillings each and a personalized trophy from the FKFPL.
Acha kwanza nishukuru Mwenyezi Mungu mwenye tuwezesha kupata hizi results nzuri. Mwenyezi Mungu asifiwe sana. 2, niacha nishukuru viongozi. 3, acha nishukuru na vijana wamefanya kazi nzuri na ndio inifanya mimi nisimame hapa, na nashukuru sana na naomba tuendelee hivyo kwa kusudi tupate awards zaidi ya hizi na wengine wachezaji wengi. Leo ni Mwita, kesho iwe na wengine. Kila mwezi tuwe na mchezaji wa Bandari mwenyewe anapata award kwa juu amefanya kazi nzuri, pamoja na coach. Nashukuru sana na staff tulikuwa nayo, kwa wote kwa ujumla. Nashukuru, hii kazi ni imefanywa kwa umoja na upendo, na ndio maana tumepata hizi zawadi na ndio maana tunasimama hapa. Nashukuru sana.
Coach, apart from here, what? Kitu cha kwanza napenda kumshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu na viongozi wenzangu na wachezaji kunipa support hadi imefika nimepata hii awards. Nashukuru sana. Kwa sababu mazuri zaidi, kwa sababu unajua kila kitu Mwenyezi Mungu ndo anapanga. Kama amepanga nitapata hii season nyingine nitapata. Ndio lengo langu, kwa sababu nang'ang'ana ili nifikie wengine kama wengine wanapofika kule juu.
And the UEFA Champions League season 2021-2022 kicks off tonight as defending champions Chelsea hosts Zenit St. Petersburg. Elsewhere, Barcelona and Bayern Munich begin their respective quest for Champions League glory with a blockbuster Group E clash at Camp Nou. Manchester United will be looking to make the perfect start to their group stage campaign when they take on Young Boys in Switzerland. Sevilla and Red Bull Salzburg kick off their campaigns on Tuesday night in Group G in Spain. Villarreal and Atlanta BC will lock horns for the first time in their respective histories on Tuesday night, with the two teams opening their group stage campaign in Spain. Right, and that story brings us to the end of our live broadcast tonight. Many thanks for staying with us. I'm Omondi, and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. I leave you with tomorrow's weather forecast. Have a good night and God bless.